Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. The DICT is defending the use of selfies in SIM registration after concerns were raised over its possible violations to privacy. DICT Undersecretary Ana Lementillo told 1PH that selfie pictures are necessary for validation. She added that the SIM registration law implies the need for such a verification process. One digital advocacy group raised concerns over the use of selfies, describing it as intrusive. Globe earlier admitted that it had to temporarily take down its SIM registration portal to include the selfie requirement in the process as mandated by the DICT.
Na yung selfie verification, importante po yun. It's an additional protection to the Filipino consumers. Kasi marami po ngayon na tinatawag na spoofing. Ibig sabihin, they will claim your identity kahit na hindi po kayo yun.
Residents in Misamis Occidental are now facing problems in the supply of water, electricity, and fuel after the flooding that dampened Christmas festivities last weekend. Gemma Vansenia with the report.
Philippine Coast Guard members were seen helping residents cross waist-deep floods in the town of Clarin in Misamis Occidental. Some of them rode a broken refrigerator to evacuate faster. This is the same scenario in other nearby towns. After the flood subsided, residents in Oroqueta were greeted with damaged houses, wrecked belongings, and toppled electric posts and trees. Some can help but cry over what they experienced on Christmas Day.
Ang tubig kalit magdasmag namo. Og wa mi maghawid. Og wala mi maghawid kaming mga igsoon, mamatay mi sa kakusog sa tubig. Hinlapas ang tubig sa atop namo, wa mi nakuha bisag isa.
Aside from the lack of water, there is also no electricity in some areas. Establishments also remain closed after being submerged in thick mud. Fuel supply is also a problem for some motorists, as some gasoline stations were affected by flooding. This resulted to long queues of motorists wanting to gas up in stations not submerged in floods.
Kayo, wala na dyan nangabre.
Wala na pwede kabaligya.
Wala na kay. Kurot man tanan jud. Wala na yung nangabilin. Manang lisod kayo may mangita.
Some residents camp on the side of roads to ask for alms.
Ay, nangingi kami na. Nagkailangan. Wala kaming bahay na.
In evacuation centers, residents had to sleep on boxes and use chairs as dividers. Misamis Occidental Governor Henry Ominal admits they were caught off guard by the widespread flooding.
So, may mga ulan noon but not this, hindi ganito ka, yung amount of rainfall was very unusual, no, mataas. And then, may mga flash floods kami noon caused by the drainage problem of, kasi when that other Layawan River, nag-increase yung height, so nag-overflow, so unexpected namin yan.
Search and rescue operations were able to resume in some provinces after the weather improved. For News 5, Gemma Vansenia, we are One News.
A group of private hospitals is in favor of extending the public health emergency status in the country. The Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines said this will provide continued allowances for health workers. The group is urging the government to observe the COVID-19 situation in the first 3 months of 2023 before deciding on whether to lift the declaration. The health emergency status in the Philippines is set to expire by the end of the month. More stories after this short break. Stay with us here on One News Now. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Former Alaska Aces Governor Richard Bachman is set to be the new Philippine Sports Commission chairman. Bachman will replace Noli Ayala, who only assumed position last September. Bachman is also the commissioner of UAAP basketball as well as chairman of the PBA 3x3. Meanwhile, Ed Haico, a former Cebu City Sports Commission chief, has been tapped as PSC commissioner. More pre-pandemic jeepney routes have been reopened by the LTFRB to the delight of both commuters and drivers. Here's the report.
42 pre-pandemic routes in Metro Manila were reopened by the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board. These routes were closed for the past 2 years after COVID-19 struck. One of these is the Cubao-Fairview route in Quezon City. Before the pandemic, commuters only need one ride to go back and forth Cubao and Fairview. But since then, the route now requires 2 separate jeepney rides. Commuters are now happy that the old route is back since it's more convenient.
Oo, mas maganda.
Kasi po,
Dire-diretso na. Hindi na kami putol-putol.
pag putol-putol ba, ma'am, nahihirapan ba kayo?
Siyempre naman, mag-aabang ka pa ng sasakyan mo, papunta kung saan ka pupunta ng trabaho.
Kasi mahirap kasi pag putol-putol eh. Kasi lalo't may bata kang dala, ganun, ang hirap sumakay.
Aside from jeepneys, commuters can also ride modern jeeps and UV Express units that ply the same route. Jeepney drivers, however, are worried of the added competition.
Maganda na nga sana, kaso lang may pumasok rin na dito, mga biyaheng Muson Pilco eh. Diretso na sila dito. Lalo ngayon, mayroon din beef. Marami ng kalaban dito. Pero okay naman kahit paano, nikita pa naman din eh.
Transport groups like the Liga ng Transportasyon at Operators or LTOP are thankful that the LTFRB has allowed more jeepneys to resume their original routes. The group said that most of their drivers will now have the means to recover financially.
Yung dagdag ho, dahil unang-una, makakabiyahe na po yung mga dating hindi bumibiyahe at saka yung mga nawalan ng hanap buhay ay maisaayos na ho yung kanilang mga sasakyan para bumalik po yung kanilang hanap buhay.
For News 5, Maricel Halili, we are One News.
Here's a quick look at today's other top stories. The government is set to privatize the operations of the EDSA bus carousel by next year. The Transportation Department had been studying the possibility of privatizing the busway project since September. The DOTR assures the public that fares will still be regulated by the LTFRB. Death toll from the widespread flooding in Visayas and Mindanao has climbed to 25. The NDRRMC also reports that 26 people are still missing. Damage to infrastructure is pegged at 20 million pesos, while damage to agriculture is estimated at around 66 million pesos. And the Health Department has reported 32 firecracker-related injuries ahead of New Year's Eve. Most of the injuries were from the use of boga, an improvised cannon that has been prohibited by the government. Western Visayas logged the most number of fireworks-related injuries, followed by the Bicol region and Soc-Sargen. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News.